Hi, I'm Vivian Oliver-Hernandez. In this tip of the week, I'm going to share how I create my digital notebooks. So I know there's been some questions on how does she do that? That's cool. I want to do that. And really, whenever I create digital notebooks, from the literacy notebook to even the Rising Writers one, all I'm doing is using Google Slides. And there's a few tricks I'm going to share with you of how I make that possible. Let me show you the end product first of what I'm speaking about, and then I'll show you how to actually do it. So this is a Google slide, right? And this is actually the creation process. But what I share with people whenever they want to see the digital notebook or whatever kind of notebook I've used, or in the classroom when I have content that I want the students to review and things like that, all I'm really doing is sharing the Google slide link, the published web one, and then the person can go ahead and see and scroll through the actual slides or notebook of it to get to where they need to go. So there are a couple key things that I do to make this type of notebook possible. The first thing I do, if you haven't already noticed, is I change the size of the Google slide. I then do have a table of contents as well. And then from there, I have just a bunch of hyperlinks to the actual page. So you have to be good at hyperlinks. So you hyperlink to the page and then you hyperlink back if you can. Now this one has a little trickiness. I have to click somewhere specifically, but I'll share with you those three main tricks that and publishing it to the web. So I'll share with you those main tricks. How does this help curriculum and everything? Again, this is mainly used whenever you're trying to showcase your student work, whenever you're trying to review important concepts and trying to give your students a tangible digital notebook, or in any creative way that you can think of for your content area. You can use GIFs as well in your digital notebook. I've done that where I will upload a GIF, so it can also be used for classroom instructions, things like that, like step 1, step 2, etc. So let's begin. So how do I actually start this? Well, the first thing that happens is that the digital or Google slide, when you originally pull it up, will be horizontal, not vertical. So the first thing I always have to do is I have to go ahead and go to File, go to Page Setup, and then change it. So right now I have custom page setup of 6.3/816. Usually it's the standard setup, which is what we're all used to a Google slide looking, but I change it to 6.3 by 8.16 and I applied that. Now, why did I pick those specific numbers? Well, it's because the cover of my notebook is actually, you'll see it real quick, it's actually an image. So this is an image I created on Canva, and I wanted to get as close as I can to overlap it as the cover. So if you're familiar with Canva, you know how awesome it is for creating graphics, but that's an image. And the reason I knew about the dimensions is because when I click on the image and I go to Format Options, I saw, when I click Size and Rotation, that 6.3 by 8.16. So that is exactly why I chose the specific dimensions that I did to fit the cover size. So you can pick like 6 by 8 or however you want to do it, but that's specifically why I chose what I chose. So that's the first tip. It's just kind of picking a slide, custom slide size, and then going with that. From there, I made it work. So like on this slide, I went ahead and I created a table of contents. All these are purely hyperlinks. When I click on them, it shows you where I have hyperlinked it to go within the slide. If you don't know how to do a hyperlink, my best tip is to always select the text or picture or whatever you want to link. Go up here to insert hyperlink, and then you will type the text that you want to display on the page, and then put right here the actual link of where you want it to go. So this one goes to my slide 3 in the presentation, and then I link it. Now, when it comes to colors, it does always default to that, so I do have to go ahead and change it back to what I wanted it to be. But that's just what you need to do whenever you're customizing and creating, especially in Google Slides. So from there, the next thing I did was I went ahead and I created little pages for each area. And then here is where I have my table of contents to go back home. And this is the same exact table of contents I use on all those pages to make it easier for whoever's reviewing to see, okay, that's like my home button. So that's the quick way that I can go ahead and go back to the table of contents without having to click all through all this stuff. So that's a nice thing, is you can create your own custom like homepage or table of contents logo to go back. And then the next thing, So how did I actually get these on there? I use a lot of images, if I'm being honest. So the images I use, if you see I'm clicking, these are all pictures of the students' work. So I do recommend using pictures when you're creating notebooks. The only reason being is because it's harder to edit or harder for someone else to edit by mistake. So again, I just use images a lot of the time, and then whenever I'm just creating like the logos or the hyperlinks or the title pages is when I use the actual titles. So that's really how I do it. And then after that, so the first I already covered how to change the size, file, page setup, and you choose custom and your custom slide. I also covered how you do hyperlinks and how hyperlinks are important, and you want to make sure you have a table of content hyperlink back to the homepage or table of contents. And then the last thing I'm going to cover is how to actually publish it. So you'll go to File, Publish to the Web, and then originally it's going to look like, I'm going to stop publishing just so you can see what it looks like originally. It's going to look like this. You're going to want to pick your specific settings. You can also restrict access to only people within the district, or you can turn that off if you want it to be public. And then you click publish, you say okay, it'll publish it, it'll create a link, and you share, copy it, you share this link with others so they can go ahead and see your wonderful notebook and see how awesome it is. And you can use that link in Google Slides, in your sites, and you can also use it in Schoology if that works. There's also an embed code that goes with publishing to the web, so you can put that wherever you need it to go as well. So that was a very quick tutorial of how to make the digital notebook. If you need any help, let me know. This is one of my favorite things to do whenever I'm creating, and I do use Canva as my tool to make some of those cool graphics that you see. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a good day, and I hope your creative flow goes great. Thank you. Bye.